Chasing your reflection. Each person creates the individual layer of their world, their own reality, with their mental outlook. Their reality acquires a certain tone depending on their attitude. Figuratively speaking, certain weather conditions are set. There may be morning freshness in the sunshine, cloudy skies and heavy rain, or even a raging hurricane and natural disaster. Reality is shaped partly by actions, as people commonly believe, but thought forms are just as powerful, though less obvious. Most problems arise from a negative attitude. The chaos created on the metaphysical level then spills into the physical, making things more complicated. A person's reality depends on how they relate to the world around them. At the same time, their mindset is influenced by what's happening in their reality. This creates a feedback loop. Reality reflects their thoughts, and their thoughts are shaped by the reflection. When standing before a mirror, people focus entirely on the reflection, not the image within themselves. This gives the reflection control in the feedback loop, leaving them under the mirror's power. Mesmerized by the reflection, they forget that they can change the original image. This fixation often brings them exactly what they do not want. Negative feelings often consume our attention, fixating us on what we wish were different. We think about what we don't want and don't want what we think about. That's the paradox. The mirror doesn't care whether you want or reject something, it simply reflects the image you focus on. The result is absurd. People carry with them what they most dislike. The saying should not be, "My tongue is my enemy, but my thoughts are my enemy." Despite this oddity, this is how things are. When a person feels hate, they pour their heart and mind into it, creating a sharp image that the mirror reflects perfectly. This fills their reality with what they despise. The abundance of hated things makes them even more irritable, intensifying the feeling. Mentally, they push everything away, thinking, "Go away." The mirror reflects this back, and others do the same to them. This only increases their problems. If you stand in front of the mirror and shout, "Go to hell, the lot of you," the reflection you will see in the mirror is yourself going to hell along with the rest of the world. Condemnation works the same way. Picture this: an angry elderly lady blames the world for everything, believing she embodies perfect justice and morality. She sees herself as faultless while the world is entirely to blame for not meeting her expectations. Her sharp, vivid mental image creates a matching reality, one filled with total injustice. The world doesn't judge or justify itself, it simply reflects the reality she imagines. The same thing happens when you strongly reject something. For example, if a woman despises drinking, she will constantly encounter it in her life. She may even marry an alcoholic. The more she hates it, the more her husband will drink. Even if he tries to quit, her intense aversion reinforces the thought, "You will never stop drinking." Now, unless he has unshakable determination, her rejection will shape his reality, making the problem worse. The tendency for pessimism is a fairly unattractive trait. The attitude of, "it won't work out anyway," is like a form of sadomasochism. The pessimist takes a strange pleasure in their misery. "The world is so bad, it couldn't get any worse. It's going to hell and it's taking me with it." This habit of indulging in negativity often comes with holding grudges. "I'm such a good person, but you don't value me. It's so unfair. I'm hurt and you don't even try and change my mind. Soon I'll be gone and then you'll be sorry." Where does this lead? The image of despair is not only reflected in the mirror, but reinforced. The pessimist orders a script for failure and then takes pride in proving themselves right. "See, I told you so." The mirror simply fulfills the order. "As you wish." With the same mindset of doom, the loser declares, "Life is just darkness with no light at the end of the tunnel." They hate their situation, but pour all their energy into whining and complaining. What else can the mirror reflect if the image is pure dissatisfaction? If the image is, "I'm unhappy, I don't want to," then the reflection will confirm, "It's true, you're unhappy and you don't want to." The mirror reflects only the facts, no more, no less. Dislike of self is just as paradoxical in nature. It is self-generating. There's one golden rule that can be included in the textbook for complete idiots. If I don't like myself, I don't like myself. However strange it may seem, this tautology, i.e., the saying of the same thing twice over in different words, embodies a principle that is followed by the majority of the population. Consider appearance. Most small children are naturally adorable, but many adults are unhappy with how they look. This happens because the mirror reflects their complaints. Those who grow up beautiful are the ones who admire themselves. That's the secret. Their principle is, if I like myself, I'll have even more reasons to like myself. When the image says, I've gained some weight, I need to lose a few pounds, the mirror simply reflects, yes, you're fat, go on a diet. Or, I'm too skinny, I should build muscle. And the response is, yes, you're puny, hit the weights. Reality echoes back exactly what it's told, confirming the message. This is how inferiority complexes form. Low self-esteem creates a verdict that the mirror reflects as reality. I don't think I have any special talents. It's true, you're mediocre. I don't think I deserve true happiness. Indeed, you have nothing to hope for. If in addition to all of this, a person has an innate feeling of guilt, their goose is cooked. Am I to blame? Must I carry out my duty? Yes, you deserve to be punished, and you will be. How could it be otherwise? If a person feels guilty, even subconsciously, some form of retribution will be reflected in the mirror for certain. Do we even need to say that stress and fear are realized just as instantly? People are afraid of so many things of which do not occur because it would require too much energy for them to be materialized. Accidents and catastrophes always represent an anomaly in the alt flow when a balance somewhere has been disturbed. However, if an unfortunate event lies in the vicinity of the flow, it will undoubtedly take place because people attract it with their thoughts. Doubt, however, has the opposite effect. Unlike fear, which focuses a person's attention on the possible realization of a given event, doubt is more concerned with what does not happen. Obviously, in many cases, as if to spite us, our doubts are confirmed. Yet, why should it seem that things happen as if to spite us? In reality, the mirror is simply reflecting our thought content, nothing more, nothing less. The more you try to avoid something, the more likely it becomes real. It feels like defiance, leading to constant irritation. This irritation shapes an overall mental outlook. I feel uncomfortable. Reality reflects this image, creating conditions that maintain or worsen the discomfort. In any case, the desire to avoid something greatly increases the likelihood of impact. Everything then seems to happen in defiance, which usually causes the individual to be in a state of irritation most of the time. Irritation completes the overall picture of one's mental outlook. The result is, I feel uncomfortable. The individual's reality is organized accordingly and is created in such a way that the feeling of discomfort is either maintained or worsened. People darken their world through their own negative attitudes. Any belief passionately fueled by the heart and mind will be perfectly reflected in reality, whether it expresses attraction or aversion. Here we see the fourth mirror principle. The mirror cites the content of the relationship but ignores its orientation. When people see unwanted things happening, they focus on the reflection, their physical reality, instead of the image, their internal world. In physical reality, actions are limited to inner intention. If the world doesn't cooperate, they try to force it into submission, dragging it in their desired direction. This is exhausting and often impossible. It's as absurd as standing in front of a mirror and trying to grab the reflection to change it. Inner intention tries to change an already established reality through direct action. It's like trying to rebuild a house after it's already finished, only to end up with something unsatisfactory. Sometimes it feels like driving an out-of-control car with faulty brakes and an unpredictable engine. When an obstacle grabs your attention, avoiding it seems logical, but the opposite happens. Focusing on the danger makes a collision inevitable. You steer away, but the car drifts towards it. The harder you brake, the more you skid out of control. It turns out that it's not man who rules reality, but reality that rules man. It's like being a child running and shouting, frustrated that the world won't listen. Do you remember that feeling? Adults tried to explain, but you didn't want to hear it. Everything had to go your way, no questions asked. Now, as an adult, nothing has really changed. We still stomp our foot demanding that the world listen, but it doesn't. Instead, it feels like reality is working against us. We push forward, but the wind of inner intention pushes back, making our efforts futile. Reality forces us to react negatively like an irritated oyster, only making things worse. So how do you control this crazy car? What should people do? And where are people going wrong? The mistake we make is that we stare at our own reflection. That is the whole problem. Instead, this is what we should be doing. First of all, we have to end the chase after our own reflection and stop for a moment. This means dragging our gaze away from the mirror and letting go of the inner intention to shift the world in the direction that we want it to go. In this moment, the crazy car will stop, and reality will also stop with it. Then something incredible will happen. The world will come to meet you halfway.